traffic management. And so we want to ask the general public to accept it with the motion that we are moving together as a nation. And so we are growing, and in growing, all of these things are what development and growth is all about. And so as we deliver this morning, dear God, may you give us the information to relate to these people. May they have receptive hearts. These mercies we ask in your name and no other name. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Good morning again to
yes.
the person that in regular. And you were about to say something?
Yes. I know we have a lot to share this morning, and it's very important. So I'm encouraging the audience to listen keenly, right? I don't think we'll get enough time to get you in this morning with your questions and concerns. However, though, if we do have the time, we'll take one or two calls. Starting this morning, though, one of the questions related to
previous shows.
Well, a previous show and to your topic this morning.
Right.
Before we had we had Officer Bell and Officer Nisbet here in studio. They were sharing the information as it relates to windscreen and the new policy that is being will be rolling out, I should say. And someone has a question for that. The question I'm going to share with you now is, on the public road, not in private properties, on the public road in certain areas, you have fruit trees that are overhanging on traffic or incoming and ongoing traffic, right? If your vehicle was to be damaged by one of those fruit trees, whether the tree itself or the fruit from the tree damage your windscreen in passing, who's responsible for taking care of those trees? If it's the government, and if it's the government, will the government compensate you for getting your windscreen damaged?
Right. Well, what I will say, GQ, we have to be careful as to the answer we provide in the context of that question, because we don't want to provide any avenue where people begin to make claim that their windscreen was damaged by overhanging trees, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when to answer the question is that in relation to those, we know that the environment deals with the beautifications, and that's basically undertaken by the Ministry of Environment. And so, in case of private property, if that eventually ever happen, we will hope that the person can basically take the necessary step to get that matter redressed. If the question was asked in relation to compensation, it means therefore that the person may have to basically inquire as to the lawful authority, and then they would have do some engagement on whatever mediation processing is employed that will happen. But in terms of relation to the inspection standard and in circumstances that you just described, whether or not the person consideration will be given, well, no, consideration will not be given, because the standard is a standard, in the sense that with broken windscreen, that especially in cases where it creates a hazard for the driver. If it, for example, if it happens at the driver's side, and that can obscure the vision, put the driver at risk or become vulnerable for the eventuality of accident, that has to be rectified immediately. So what we're doing now is sensitizing persons, giving persons the opportunity between now and December to get them to correct that situation if it is, because for the new licensing period, the standard is going to be strictly enforced.
Okay, thanks for answering that. My final question for you, then I'll let you get into your topic, and this one is related to the topic. The public is aware of the new policy that's going to be rolling out as it relates to the cameras and taking pictures, and you'll be ticketing in the mail. They are also asking if any consideration will be taken into increasing the speed limit in areas where it's appropriate to do so?
Well, what we are saying that their assessment, their evaluation, and all part of the traffic management, and so the objective is about road safety. So, in terms of the question to say whether consideration is being given, consideration cannot be given in isolation of proper study, proper research, proper assessment in relation to that. And so perhaps in the future, as we roll out this new initiative and the information that is collected based on what the information is saying to us, then that will be an opportunity to basically
Amend.
take into consideration
Make amendments.
possible options.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just this morning I had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And so the conversation is a real one, but it has to be taken in the context of safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear, because a lot of people are saying that, the norm is that, how we normally drive, and it's not a grace period, but consideration is taken if you go over 10 miles, right? So if you're in a 40-mile zone and you go 45, you will not be ticketed for that, right? That's my understanding, is correct?
No.
Well, let me put it as the spirit of the law, how the law intended, right? The spirit of the law is really to regulate speeding, to reduce speeding. And so the fine is really from a standpoint of deterrence. So what happens is that the minimum fine, when you would have drive above the speed limit, be it 20 miles per hour or 40 miles, wherever those zones apply, those speed limits apply. If you are above that speed limit, then you can be fined or ticketed the $250. The law allows for, let me not say the law allows. 10 miles above the speed limit, after every 10 miles, you will be given an additional $100 for that, on top of that $250. So, for example, if you are driving at 30 miles in a 20-mile zone, based on the law, you will be ticketed $250. And so, when you go beyond that 30 miles, like you're driving 40 miles, for example, in a 20-mile
I understand what
zone,
you're saying.
you will now be ticketed $350.
The reason why I raised that, because I've heard other officers indicate that, if you're in a 20-mile per hour zone and you're gone 25, they won't ticket you. I've heard that. I've heard if you're in a 40-mile zone and you go 45 or 42, they won't ticket you. They will let that slide.
I understand what GQ is asking now, and which is correct.
Right.
You're correct, Mr. GQ, you're correct. If you're in a 40 miles per hour, zone, for example, you're on the highway and the highway says you're driving at 40 miles per hour, but the officer sees you and you're going 42 miles per hour. And so the officer would stop you, have a conversation with you, and remind you that the speed limit is 40 miles per hour, but not giving you a ticket because it's 42 miles per hour you're doing in a 40 miles per hour zone. Hence the same way you're in a residential area, and the speed limit in a residential area is 20 miles per hour, and you're going 23, 24, 25 miles per hour in that area. The officer again will stop you, have a conversation with you, reminding you that the speed limit is 20 miles per hour. And so you're correct within that vein.
Right. So that's the argument.
We are not encouraging persons to go beyond the speed limit. But I understand that
It's discretionary.
Yes, right. So based on that premise is why the person was asking
Yes.
the consideration to be taken as it relates to increasing the speed, seeing that will be putting things in place to capture individuals who are now breaking the law or going above the speed limit. But if it's now in quote unquote not a human is now technical, the computer is now doing the assessment, will that assessment be taken into consideration? Because a human factor is different from a technology aspect of it. That's the
Well,
concern.
GQ speed is speed. You're either speeding or you're not speeding. That is why it's a strict liability.
No, I get you. I
offense.
get you.
And so, but when we get into the program, that area I can basically highlight because the thing about it with the initiative, right, is not to basically say looking for people who might be driving just above. We are looking for basically we will be ticketing persons who are ridiculously speeding.
Okay.
Right?
Got you.
It doesn't mean that we are not enforcing the law, right? But when I come to that, I will speak to that.
And I apologize for taking your time. You have 12 minutes.
That is the thing. So I don't know how far we can get with 12 minutes. Maybe we might have to come back. And so today we are talking about a major step in our national road safety strategy, the introduction of photo radar technology on our roads. This modern system is designed to detect and record speeding violation automatically using radar sensors and high-resolution cameras. It's part of a broader effort by the Traffic Department and the Royal St. Christopher Navy's Police Force to reduce road crashes or injuries and fatality caused by excessive speeding. So this initiative really targeting excessive speeding. All right? It doesn't mean that persons who are exceeding the speed limit is off the hook. But the real emphasis is excessive speeding, all right? Because we know the dangers of that, all right? So what is a photo radar and how it works? A photo radar system works by measuring a vehicle's speed using radar and or laser sensors. If the vehicle exceeds the posted speed limit, the camera captures an image of the vehicle and its license plate. That data is then reviewed and a traffic ticket is issued to the registered owner of the vehicle. So for example, and this is why I'm saying that if you're driving in a 20 miles zone and you're driving 25 miles, 28 miles, 30 miles, depending on the time of day, the nature of the road conditions and so on, then you might get a buy with that. But if you cannot tell me driving in excessive speed above that speed limit, it should not harm things. So that is what we are really targeting.
Okay.
The non-consideration or inconsideration of the speed limit, despite the road conditions, in terms of the number of vehicles on the road, the timing of the day, you have peak hours and things like that. So those are the areas, are the factors in which someone will be ticketed. And so it's for persons to be mindful that, it's not for you to really, it's not a license for you to say, well, I could drive above 20 miles. But you don't really have to worry if you're driving not excessively above the speed limit, right?
Sergeant,
Yes.
with your permission, right? I'm hoping that we can use our discretion this morning. I apologize for ambushing your program this morning. We have 9 minutes.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that the information should not be shared, but
So you're giving us some extra time after the news?
well, no, we have a tight show this morning.
Okay.
But what I would like to be take into consideration, we are getting a number of concerns
Right.
about the topic this morning, right? So, with your permission,
Right.
we could always come back and share the information, but I guess this will help share the information.
Providing that I will not be running a risk and entertaining the question without the information. So
There's a lot of questions coming in.
right. Well, we can
We
take the
can
questions and always come back and think. And maybe perhaps you ZIZ may have to. This might be one of the instances where we might have to consider more time.
Yes.
Because of the
nature.
the nature of the issue, right? So we could take the calls then, since that we are limited.
Well, I don't know about the calls, but for sure we have plenty of questions via social media.
Okay.
So here's the first question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are these zones clearly marked with a proper sign?
What zones?
The areas that the cameras will be put in.
No, the areas that the cameras will be placed is not intended for people to know where these areas are. In fact, that the cameras will be randomly placed. They will not be static in one particular area, because that will defeat the purpose. Because if you're aware that you know that a camera there, what is the natural thing? We see it happens all the time when police are doing VCP. That they know police, the message go out, police on the road, all kind of social media and so on, and then you see people crawling coming. Crawling, sometimes they almost get in accident crawling because the police there. So that is the effect of that. So you will not know, it will be placed randomly in areas throughout St. Kitts and Nevis. Sometimes it might be in Cairn, it might be in St. Paul's, it might be in Frigate Bay, it might be in Bastia. But the intention, that is why we are not hiding anything, we are not taking you by surprise. We are telling you that this technology is available, it is an operation, is about watching you without you seeing us watching you. And so you will not know where it is, you will not know when it is being placed, and so that is for you, because the objective is to reduce speed.
Next question. It said that long straight roads are 20 miles per hour zones. Is that correct?
It depends on the area. Because if the long straight road is, there are two speed limits in the law, 20 miles per hour and 40 miles per hour. How they are distinguished is that where they are residential area or built up area within Bastia is 20 miles. So in villages, Bastia area generally is 20 miles. Where there are non-built up areas, like you're going across Kim Collins Highway, you're going across like White Gate, and those places is 40 miles.
All right. So once it's not in a residential or built-up area?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. This question for you, Donnelly, this is unrelated to the topic this morning. Where can people get information to report abandoned vehicles, derelict vehicles? That
can be done at the traffic department.
Okay.
And there are a number that they can call. We have our traffic line 662-2025, 662-1388. These are numbers that persons can call, or they can call 465-20-41, ask them to put them on to the traffic department.
All right, cool. All right, this one is a voice note for both of you.
GQ, when they first introduced the radar guns, Inspector Keynes at the time, who was head of traffic, came on national television, ZIZ, and said you're entitled to 10 miles over the speed limit. So if you're in a 20 miles, you can do up to 30 without a ticket. If you're in a 40 mile, you can do up to 50 without a ticket.
Is that so?
That is not correct.
No, I think there was a misunderstanding.
Not without a ticket. What happens with that is that you will be ticketed the minimum fine. The minimum fine, which is $250. And so it's not that if you are 10 miles above the speed limit, you are free to go. You broke the law. You exceed the speed limit. But what the law is saying, the law allows for that additional 10 miles before the $100 start applying. So it's after that 10 miles above the speed limit. 10 miles after that 10 miles, you will be the $100 applied.
I guess it was just, Mr. GQ, I think it was just a misunderstanding between the conversation that Mr. Keynes would have had and the person who would have received the information, how he would have accepted it, how Mr. Keynes maybe have put the information over, but the law is clear. It is not something that was made up. It is in the law. So there could have been a clear misunderstanding.
Okay.
And so like Mr. Maguire would have indicated, he would have cleared up any.
Okay. Thanks for that. Talking about trees now, as in the White Gate. Along the White Gate, protruding trees onto both sides. It's only a matter of time before things happen in that area. Any consideration been taken into look at that area at the White Gate in terms of the trees hanging over into the public road?
Well, like I said, I know that the environment persons, they usually deal with the beautification, clearing the edges. And so the thing about it, it's always the responsibility of the driver, a prudent and reasonable driver, to drive with due care. And so if you are aware that there is an impending danger, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that you avoid any possibility of eventuality that will become hazardous.
Next question coming in. When will this policy be implemented?
The policy of
The traffic with the
radar?
the radar.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, today begins the official
Oh, wow.
launching. As of today, the 15th of October, in the year of the Lord 2025, full enforcement. So what will happen is that once, as I read earlier, the camera will capture your vehicle plate number and the speed and other data, and that will be retrieved, and that information is now a ticket will be issued along with the information that were captured, and that will be delivered to the owner, the registered owner, and it will be the same procedure as you've been receiving a ticket. You go to you either pay it, if you don't pay it, you're contesting it, you are taken to court. Same procedure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see more questions, but we'll have to call it that for
Yes.
now because it's now 9 o'clock. We have our 9 o'clock report. I once again, I do apologize for
Yes, I
for robbing your
understand.
time, and
I
I
understand.
didn't realize it was today as well. Today is the launching of that
Yes.
that policy.
Yes.
Okay. Your last words, from both of you, if you have.
Well, for me, we want to let the general public know that the radar really matters. It really matters. It's an improvement in our management plan, and so we're asking persons to be guided accordingly. Have yourself a great week.
Yeah, well, I was dubbing today's discussion as slowing down to save lives. So that is how I want to end. Always, as you go through the day, remember the importance of drive slowly, drive carefully, and within the limits of the law.
Thanks for being here, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Sergeant McCoy and Officer Donnelly, thank you for being here. All right, that's it for this morning. We have another O'clock report up next. Stay tuned. It's financial month, so we have a number of information to share with you. All right, stay tuned.
Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, down. Too many stunt drivers on the road, man.
At The Cable, we believe